so you guys can try to get to the bottom of all of this and get to the truth. What does that say about this administration, this Justice Department?
Well, it's not been compliant, Jenny. We've seen some of the stuff that's already come through from past subpoenas. It's heavily redacted, but it definitely shows that we've not been very truthful in the way we've apprehended these subpoenas or handled them, and being forthright and knowledgeable and honest about how we've approached the committee.
Attorney General Eric Holder said today in a press conference that they've already sent thousands of pages of documents up to the Hill, that he will undoubtedly comply. But does that mean, again, if he turns over these documents and they're all blacked out and redacted, is that really complying?
That's not complying, because what we need to do is we need to be able to do our job, and that is to find out the transparency and oversight of what actually occurred here in this botched debacle. We need to be able to know who was accountable, who authorized this, how the functions went through, the hierarchical aspect. We need to have that transparency on behalf of the American people, and particularly for those in the Southwest and for the Mexican people as well.
Yeah. I mean, all you have to do is look at the emails, look at the memos, look at the paper trail, look at the timeline, and I'm sure that's what they're doing.
Well, the thing about it is you can definitely see that this was, we spoke about this last night. This was a point of contention from the very get-go. You can go back to his speech in April 2nd of 2009, and also followed up with the president's speech in April 16th of 2009, which Attorney General Holder basically talks about committing to putting the resources in place to increase the attacks on arms and trafficking in Mexico. And he talks about working with Secretary of DHS Napolitano. And he further makes the comment, the problem of arms trafficking will not be stopped at the border alone. An attack in depth on both sides of the border that focuses on leaderships and assets of the cartel. I mean, we've definitely had this on the radar screen. And when you look at all the things that have happened in Arizona, we just sneeze in Arizona and we get a response from this administration and from the DOJ. So it definitely was on our radar screen.
Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't comply, what happens next?
Well, that's for the chairman and the committee to go back through, and I think the growing concern from the American people is that this is, American citizens shouldn't be used as collateral in a war that's going on here. We should never be facilitating putting guns in criminals' hands without surveillance and without tracking. And we shouldn't be doing this without cooperation and working with the Mexican government. This is absolute lunacy that we're actually doing this.
Yeah, and I mean, you know it. Congressman Issa sent a scathing letter back to Holder. Very blunt. He lays it right on the line. And he said Holder's latest offense has reached a new low, and let him know that whether you realize it or not, you own Fast and Furious. And he can make all the excuses he wants. And Issa is right. He owns it. It's his department.
That's exactly right. Because the opposite point of the view here is that he allowed to have some vigilante group in the DOJ and the ATF to be doing this across the international border. I mean, that is absolutely incomprehensible. I mean, that can't happen in today's world.
And what about coming back to testify before Congress? Is it enough for Holder to sit there and say he got the memos, he just never read them? How about that one?
Try telling that to the American people when we do that, because that doesn't work. If somebody on Main Street America would have done this, they were in jail, and the key would be thrown away. And you'd have to prove yourself innocent. And that's what's wrong with America today, is that the bureaucrats hold themselves at a different level than Main Street America, and that can't happen.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for taking the time, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you down the road as we always have been, and we'll see what happens next.
You betcha. Jenny, thank you for keeping this on the front burner.